Hey guys,
What's going on?
what's up, Jack? So we are doing our first Banggood sponsored giveaway today, yeah?
That's right. Yeah,
Banggood.
they asked us to give away a drone, so we said, "Heck yeah, let's do it. Let's give away a drone." They're celebrating their big summer sale, but I think not everybody knows what Banggood is. So Chris, why don't you tell them what the heck is Banggood? Sounds kind of fishy.
Yeah, so if we've got some FPV guys out there, Jack, they probably are a little more familiar. If you've ever looked for a budget drone, you probably came across their ads. But they're kind of like Amazon of China in a lot of ways. Better in some ways, worse in others. If you're going to buy something from the US, you're going to wait a little bit. Return policy may not be quite as generous, but you can get some absolutely killer deals there. Banggood has a lot of stuff, a lot of really good stuff. Hunt around. We get a lot of stuff from there, don't we, Jack?
Yeah, I would say, a good portion of the things that we review come from Banggood, but we buy things from them too. A lot of times when I need parts, if I don't need it in a hurry, I'll get a lot of that stuff from Banggood because their prices are good. They really are. If you need it tomorrow, don't buy it from Banggood. But their prices are pretty awesome. So
Yeah, and I think they're generally pretty accurate in terms of says it's going to take 10 days to get there. It takes 10 days, right? Well, until the COVID-19 stuff, that there's no anticipating that. But now I think things have probably stabilized, and before that all happened, I think they're pretty true to their delivery schedules.
yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So
Cool.
Banggood, it's a funny name, good website.
It is, yep. So if you're looking for a deal, check out the links in the description down below. They'll be there after this podcast, and some of the things all the things we're talking about today were sent to us by Banggood. So we've got links to them. We've written articles about these products, and the Tinyhawk. This is what we're giving away today. The video, I already released a video on this, just kind of a teaser, let people know that this stream was coming. And if you want this, let us know. So, Chris, how are we giving this thing away today? Somebody's going to win one, right? So they need to know how.
How are they going to win? All right, so what you guys can start doing in the comments is start writing down numbers. Everybody gets to submit a single number, please. 1 to 200 inclusive. You can use 1, you can use 200. Towards the end here, we're going to pick a random number. We're going to use a random number function of our smartphone. And we're going to see how that goes. So we're going to pick number. Whoever gets closest wins. So that's how we're going to do it today. And if you don't win, like Jack said, we got the sale going on for a few days over there. Go ahead, pick something up, get it while it's on sale. And Jack, did you already mention we got the links down there for that?
Yep.
Using those links always helps us out and costs you nothing. So go ahead and use those.
Yeah. All
We
right.
got some
We got
numbers
the numbers
rolling in.
rolling in. Yeah. So just guess, right? 1 to 200. Throw it in the chat. We'll have Siri announce a number, and whoever's closest, we'll have to get your info, and then we'll have Banggood send it to you. So like we said, they're the ones sponsoring this live stream and this giveaway. So thanks to them for that, and somebody gets a drone today, so that's cool.
Jack, we got our email in the description as well, right? I saw someone said their Phantom was down. If you need a Phantom, we've got one for you.
It's a Phantom 4 Advanced. It's pretty
Advanced.
awesome.
Advanced, which means it's pretty much the same drone.
It's the Pro.
Way better deal. So we're trying to offload it for half price of what you can buy one for from DJI. I mean, are they even up on DJI still? I don't even know.
I don't think so. But a Phantom 4 Pro is what, $1,600? It's the same dang drone. The only thing that's different is it doesn't have side obstacle avoidance, I think, right?
Or rear, yeah.
Or rear.
And some minor differences in transmission, but pretty much same deal. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the Phantom, but
No.
all right, let's get going. What do we got then? We're going to talk about the Tinyhawk a little bit, Jack. Yeah. So
Yes.
before, let me introduce you on this stuff. You've flown like maybe 100, 200 of these tiny little toothpick micro racer drones now. Is this one of your top picks at this point?
Yeah, this is a fun little drone. You know, I love toothpicks, and this is actually the Tinyhawk Freestyle 2. So this is a second iteration of this Tinyhawk Freestyle. It's a 2.5 inch, right? That's the size of the propellers. They're 2.5 inch props, and we're looking at, what are they? 1103, 7,000 kV. I just want to make sure I got the kV right. So yeah, so this is second iteration. It's got some differences from the original Freestyle, which I really like.
So I'm going to say a couple things about this drone, having never flown it, but just for our non-FPV guys out there, if you fly this thing and you're used to flying something with GPS, it's going to be a little bit different. If you fly it in angle mode, it will move around on you, but it will stabilize in the same kind of way. But the real fun here is it's got a really wide camera on it, like all good racing drones, and that lets you fly it with the goggles. You try to fly a Phantom or a Mavic with just goggles, and you're going to struggle a little bit. Your awareness isn't so good. These drones are designed for that. Ton of fun. You can also, as you become more advanced, get into acro mode, which is a whole nother way of controlling the drone. More control, more fun, flips, rolls, all that kind of jazz. Jack, why would you want this drone over maybe something you might see on TV?
Great question, right? This thing, and the big answer is this is smaller, right? You can do what, you know, this is what you see on TV is something more like this, a 5-incher. And this thing has gigantic motors and gigantic propellers, and it's super powerful. And if those things are spinning, you stick your finger in there, it's going to slice your finger. That's not going to happen with this. It's going to hurt. But, you know, these smaller FPV drones are a lot quieter and a whole lot safer. It's like, you know, I always make the analogy, you know, would you give a Ferrari to a 16-year-old kid? No, because they're going to hurt themselves, right? That's what one of those things is. It's a Ferrari. If you've never flown FPV before, you start with something smaller, right? This is more like a, I don't know, like a Mustang, right? I'm not giving my 16-year-old kid a Mustang.
There's
but
no Mustang drivers out there. But I mean, I think that's not even, I mean, it's like, because, I mean, a Mustang, I think from a performance standpoint, I think that's a good analogy. But it's
Yeah.
like, you could put either one of those, you could, you know, you could drive through a mall with them and kill a bunch of people, right? This thing, you can't break the window on your house. I mean, it's just so much safer than your Ferrari 5-inch racing drone. You're not going to break a window. You're not sending anyone most likely to the hospital unless you get really unlucky with a shot to the eye or something. But I mean, those big drones are very dangerous, especially if you don't know what you're doing. So this is just 100% the way to go, almost for anybody, experienced or not, unless you really want to put one of these guys on there, a GoPro, a really nice camera with stabilization or something. Then you might want to go bigger. But
here's the thing, right? I actually, I don't know what I did with it. I got it somewhere around here, but I put the Insta360 GoCam on this drone, and you guys got to watch the review I did on this. But you know, that little camera, it's 18 grams, it's stabilized, it's awesome. It's a 1080p feed. You can even put something like that, because that camera is special, right? We've done a few videos on it, and you can do some really cool things with that camera that you just can't do with you just it's awesome. You got, if you haven't seen those videos, check them out, because it's really cool. But Chris is right. You know, the camera is kind of a limitation. You know, you can't put a GoPro on this, obviously.
So how good is the camera on this Tinyhawk compared to some of the other toothpicks?
Well, actually, that's one of the things they upgraded here is, so this is the RunCam Nano 2, which is, you know, I would say a good, better than average FPV camera. Now, an FPV camera is totally different than, you know, something, you know, on your Mavic or your Phantom, right? It's super wide angle. You know, it doesn't quite have the dynamic range, but that's not what you're using the camera so you can see see the feed in live time, right? If you've never flown FPV with a set of goggles, it's a totally different experience. Like people ask me, like, what would you compare it to? And the reference that I like to throw at people is a lot of people like Star Wars, right? And there was the that scene in Star Wars where Anakin's a kid and he's doing the pod racing, they're zipping all around. Like that's what it is, but like you're actually the driver now because you put these goggles on. We're going to talk about these goggles today, these specific goggles, and you see from the nose, from the front of the drone. You're in the cockpit, and it's a totally different, and I love it. It's a unique experience.
Should we move on to those goggles?
Yeah. I haven't really been checking the chat. Give me a second and see if people. I mean, if you guys have questions about this? I spent. Let me just talk about toothpick versus whoop, because some people ask those questions, and a toothpick is great for flying outside. A whoop is great for flying inside, right? This is like if you don't have a whoop, you need to get one, because everybody should have one of these if you fly FPV. I don't care if you fly those big things. If you're a pro, you get one of these and you fly it around the house in the winter when it's raining. It's awesome. But and that's kind of the difference. Like Emax made their name, I think, with the Tinyhawk, right, and the specifically the ducted ones, and then they just kind of branched out. They make good 5 inches. I've got a great 4-inch Hawk that I love to fly, but they make great little drones, and you probably ought to take a look at those. So if you guys have questions about this specific Tinyhawk, or toothpicks, or whoops or whatever, throw them in the comments, and
I saw a question about how much a wind can the Tinyhawk handle.
It's good. That's a really good question. It's not going to handle wind like a 5-inch drone, right? I'm not going to fly this on a windy day, specifically because this is a freestyle drone, and I like to use it to do flips and rolls. And when you're doing flips and rolls and you're trying to be precise around things, wind is going to push this. So a light breeze be fine. I guess it kind of depends on how you fly and the purpose of what you're trying to accomplish while you're flying.
I think if you're experienced, don't mind the cat here. If you're experienced and you're aware that there's wind, I mean, this thing has plenty of power to fight the wind, right? It's not an issue of an underpowered drone. You can do flips, rolls, all that kind of stuff. It's got plenty of juice, no?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can do what you want if you're an experienced acro pilot. And for those of you that, if you're watching and you're not into acro, I don't suggest that you just start with a drone and just go outside and fly, because you're going to crash. Get a simulator, right? You can fly a simulator with your actual drone remote. I have a remote that I just have dedicated. It's actually right here. I leave it connected to the side of my desk, and this remote, which is old Devo 7, I only use this to fly on my sim on my computer, and that's how you practice. Because you're going to crash. When you crash, things will break. That's the other advantage of a small, lightweight drone, is they break less, right? Not that they're unbreakable, because they will break. That's the other thing about flying FPV. I was talking to Ken Dono the other day, and I think he tweeted this out yesterday, the day before. Like, when you fly, you break stuff, and that's the difference between flying. Another big difference between flying FPV and photography stuff is I don't crash my Mavic. I don't crash my Phantom. But if I do, I'm going to be really upset because I wasn't paying attention. But when I fly this, I crash it 100% of the time. And that's okay. I predict to crash 100% of the time.
Jack, lightning round here. Cigar Nation wants to know, did it come with a case, extra props?
Came with a case. Props. Yeah, yes, it did. I think the Tinyhawk Race 2 did not come with extra props, and that was a problem for me. I'm not 100% on the props. It did come with a case. It comes with two 1S batteries, so you can fly this on All of the Tinyhawks come with a 450 milliamp hour battery. This one comes with two. You plug them both in simultaneously, or you can jump it and fly it on 1S. Don't bother. You need to. Some people cut this off and solder on an XT30 and use those batteries. You could, but if you have a lot of those stick batteries, 1S stick batteries, then that's another thing that's nice about this. But yeah, it comes with a case.
So Michael, and I'm not going to attempt the name, Belshi, I will attempt it. I'm going to go with that. Wants to know, been flying a camera drone, an Evo, for a year or so. Wants to know goggles and controller. You get one choice. We're going to assume his goggles want to be under a reasonable price range. What's your choice?
All right. Well, let's talk about this because these are the best goggles I have. These are $400 right now on sale. I think they're $380, $389. I think there's even like the first 10 were like $370, but those are probably already sold. These are the Sky Zone 030s, right? And the O over here, 030, means OLED, and the screens on these things are phenomenal. They're fantastic. I was flying my old daily drivers with these. These are the Sky Zone 030s, and the 030s and the 030s are the same goggles. They're exactly the same, except for one difference, and that's the screens. And I brought these both out to fly so that I can compare, and I started with these. The screens on these are really nice. These are like $370, $350, so they're almost the same price. But then I put these on, and I'm like, whoa, there are clouds in the sky. Just that you can see more detail with these OLED screens. The resolution on them is really good.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. You love these screens, the colors, everything else. You have to pick between flying this and digital FPV with DJI goggles. Okay, so that's this thing here, and that is such a hard thing because, well, all right, if I'm flying these things, I can't use DJI, so you go analog, and I would choose those goggles. Digital FPV with these things it's a freaking game changer. It is so different. It's so clear. I feel like it makes me a better pilot. Now I can actually add this module. This is another video we did. This thing was like $15. It might even be 12, and it just kind of it takes you 5 minutes to put it on, these goggles, and then you can use these to fly this, right? And these two goggles are the same price, more or less, right? These are $400. These are $400. So that's so hard. Controller, I'm gonna go get the controller. Chris, you talk to these guys about what? All right, Chris, you've flown FPV a little bit, right? Yeah.
What is tell them your experience? Why do you? Chris is the better photography pilot, and I would say it's not really close. He's better than I am. I'm the better FPV pilot, and I don't think that's debatable either. What thoughts on that, Chris? I'll be right back.
Well, thoughts on my thoughts on goggles is definitely the most distracting things with goggles is noise. The digital solves that. So if I had to pick, a way to fly, it's going to be digital, DJI. I actually have never flown with those, Jack. Do you have a drone that's safe for me to fly with those goggles? I don't know. But I've seen you fly with them. I've seen what it can do. It's pretty amazing. So there is that. That being said, if you're stuck FPV, these goggles that Banggood sent you, sounds like they are the way to go. One thing I'm wondering in this conversation is Fat Shark just kind of left in the dust at this point, or are they still doing good stuff?
So that's a great question, right? So released a new set of goggles. They're $400. They have OLED screens. They're pretty comparable to these, right? But these have dual diversity. Well, it has diversity built into it, right? So receivers. So I'm done. I don't have to spend another dime with these Sky Zones. But with the Fat Sharks, they're $400 plus. I gotta buy a module and I gotta buy antennas. So I'm in another $200. So it's $600. Goodness, excuse me, $600 before I'm done with DJI. And I would say that they're not even the best option out there anymore. Orca FPV, the Orca goggles they're better than Fat Shark. But and Orca is going to continue to push firmware to their goggles to update them. So is Fat Sharks, they're dying, man. They for so long they just didn't listen to customers. Like, it took them like a decade to put a freaking power button on the goggles. People are like, put a power button on. I don't want to just have to pull the plug.
So they had an early lead. They've got a brand name at this point, but they are a little too slow on their upgrades, is what you're saying.
Oh, for sure. Lots of people are saying the Jumper T18 as a universal transmitter. Now, we have one on the way, but I also have this. This is the Radio Master TX16S, and this is probably the remote that I would recommend. And I'm going to recommend this thing, I'm pretty sure, over the Jumper. You know, I know maybe that's ridiculous because I haven't seen the Jumper yet, but I've watched other people's reviews of the Jumper and I've read about the Jumper. So this is a multi-protocol radio, which means you can fly your FR Sky stuff, your Fly Sky stuff, your Spectrum stuff. You can even fly your Hubsons and your SEMAs and your MJX bugs with this thing. We did a review on that, right? I even flew a SEMA because everyone's like, oh, you can fly, you know, Fly Sky or Spectrum or whatever. You can fly everything on this, right? So I did. But essentially, this and the Jumper are the same thing. The Jumper has an extra protocol, so you can fly 900 gigahertz FR Sky stuff too. You can't do that with this without a module, but you can put a module in there if you wanted. So that, you know, that's an advantage Jumper. But advantage this, that has an internal antenna, which it doesn't have quite the range that this does. So this has better range. I think that's better. The Jumper is also seems to be problematic. You know, if you've ever seen Albert Kim stuff, check out his. If you know, Joshua Bardwell is the man when it comes to FPV, check out his review. Those guys will tell you this is a great starting place, right? This is, I think it was $99. I think now it's $109 for the base model. And then you can get the Hall sensor gimbals, or you can get one with Crossfire inserted. I think that gets it close to $200, but this is the radio that I use, and this is absolutely the radio I'd recommend. The only other potential option, and I've got one on the way, is a budget radio. Who is it? Not Get FPV. Beta FPV is sending me a budget radio. They have a little gamepad style remote that it's like $30, and people say it's good, but you know, I don't have it in my hands yet to prove that. So that's coming too.
So is Tyrannus becoming, maybe this isn't a great analogy, sort of the Fat Shark of the transmitter world then?
Yes, they shot themselves in the foot. So they forked their protocol and they basically made a bunch of things obsolete. So, you know, they wanted, you know, they had a huge market segment, and that's what everyone's flying. I was telling people, you know, the Tyrannus, the QX7, great starter radio. And then they went on and they created this access protocol, which was supposed to be better, but it wasn't backwards compatible with their old radio. So then they wanted everyone to go out and buy a new radio that had this new protocol. And people were like, no, that's stupid. And then they got into this war with sellers. Like, you can't, if you sell, I think it was a Jumper radio at the time, the Jumper T16. If you sell the Jumper T16, then you can't sell our stuff because Jumper, they said, stole their open source software. So it was a goofy thing. I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot. But yeah, most people are moving to this or the Jumper. They're both good radios, and I would recommend either of them before I would recommend a Taranis product or an FrSky product.
We've had just one more quick thing on the remotes, on the transmitters. Just a question for you. I feel like the first couple of Jumpers we got, the gimbals didn't last all that long. The sticks had some issues. Has that gotten better?
You know, it's hard to say because the early Jumpers, I think we lost a spring or some tension, and you can fix those things. And I haven't had this thing for very long, but these are Hall effect gimbals, which are kind of a tried and true product. But with everything, it's all time, right? So it takes time to kind of. I can't say that this is going to be the best. It's going to last 10 years or whatever. But Andrew F. I just bought an E010 to convert to FPV as another whip. Awesome, that is fantastic. And you know what? You can fly it on this. That's one of the first whoops that Chris and I would build, is we would convert those. You buy that drone for like $20. It's fun. The controller sucks though, right? It's like super small and you're holding it like this, and we 3D printed sticks so that we could manipulate it. Then you throw it on this and you're like, holy cow, that thing flies great now. You get better control with these gimbals, and you get better range actually.
Do they still make the E11? Remember that little thing? That thing was like twice as fast.
Yeah, so hold on, I got one somewhere.
I forgot all about those little guys.
The Santa drone. I just did some painting in here, so I had to take everything down, and here he is.
You guys got to go find the original Santa drone video. That one, we had too much fun with it. Santa gets a little frisky.
He's humping the camera. It is fantastic. But yeah, this is the E011, and actually played music. It was fantastic. But yeah, slightly bigger motors. So yeah, you got more power. $10. He paid $10 for that. But yeah, so you get more power out of this. You can flash silverware. It's a firmware to get acro. Is this? Yeah, so this is an E011. The motors are slightly thinner, right? They're not as big. But yeah, great. Gosh,
that's where it's at, right? So, all right. So we had again. I'll come back. I want like the three products, maybe 4. If you're getting into FPV, we had some comments there like, if you've never bought, and if you're not fully analog, just make the jump. If you got $400, go straight DJI goggles. I think that's sound advice, right? Let's just say yes. Okay. If you got $200, what do you do for goggles?
There is an so well, $200. $200 doesn't get you any.
Save $100 and go 100.
Okay. No, yeah. Well, so for $200 you can get these, right? These the Skyzone O2Xs or the Fat Shark Attitude V5s. I think they're $199. They're $199. Either one of those they're great.
Okay, transmitter. What's your transmitter?
Right here.
How much?
$100.
$100.
Buy the mid-level one with the Hall gimbals. I think it's $129. It's worth it. People, do I actually notice a difference when I'm flying this versus non-Hall effect gimbals? No, but there is a difference, and I know that when you're in beta flight and you're looking at your setup, and I've got these sticks settled, nothing's bouncing around when I'm setting things up in my Taranis QX7. Like the dials, they're twitching, they're going up, back and forth just a little bit, right? And that means that drone is also getting that tiny signal. So this is just going to be more precise.
All right, and the drone. I mean, we're going way back with the E11, but I mean, isn't that a fantastic? If you can you acro that? Is that what you're saying?
There are ways to.
It's hard.
The V5's $300. Maybe they are. Then go with the Skyzones because they're $200. This is the Mobula 6. I love this thing. It is fantastic. Although, so this is great. It's a 1S drone, but the Tinyhawk, this is the Tinyhawk S. Also, you can fly this indoors, but you can also fly it on 2S outside. That makes this a lot of fun. So it's a toss up. I mean, if I had to just live with one of them, I would do this, because it's freaking awesome. I love this thing. The UZ65 is basically the same. Yeah, gosh, there's so many drones, so much fun.
Yeah. All right.
Box
Fair enough.
goggles. But you know what? That's the other thing. Like, I don't know that I would really you said, should you just spend $100? I think you should just spend 50 and buy a set of box goggles and make sure you like it, or buy one of those OTG FPV adapters and plug it into your phone. I think they're like $35. If I haven't found one that works with an iPhone well. And then you make sure you like it, and then you go the DJI route.
So how about this, Jack? We put you on the spot today. There's a lot of recommendations over here in the comments. What if we just, after we're done here, you go ahead and pick like 2 or 3 price points: drone, transmitter, and stick with the tiny drones, the toothpicks, the indoor flyers. Go a transmitter and 3 goggles at different price points. Let's throw them in the description.
Sure. We actually made a video where I took goggles, $100, $200, $300, and so that we've done that, right? So if you guys want to see, kind of that goggle comparison, so if you guys you're getting into FPV, buy the transmitter first. Don't buy a drone. Buy this. Then you find a simulator. You can download it, and you practice on that. Then you can buy a drone, right? Buy one from Banggood, and while you're waiting for your drone to show up, you practice on the computer.
All right, Jack. So you now are, I would say, officially at expert status when it comes to taking any high quality or junky little drone and getting it to work on any remote possible. So if I am going to go try to buy a transmitter, get it hooked up to my computer, flight simulator, then get it hooked up to a drone, not what do I buy, but who do I go to? Are you the resource? Are you the number 2? Who do I go to? You and Bardwell?
Yeah. I learned pretty much all of that from Joshua Bardwell. He is the man when it comes to FPV. He's done a ton for the hobby, but he's also he's super smart, and he's a reasonable guy. And if you're trying to figure out how do I connect this drone to Betaflight, go to his stuff. Like I've done that with a handful of drones, but it's just like that resource already exists, and I've actually sat down and recorded videos of me doing that, and it's just it's hard for me to put together. It doesn't, when I get one of these drones, sometimes it takes me 5 minutes to get up in the air, and sometimes it takes me 2 days.
Right.
And
that's a hard video to make because you don't know what's going to work, right?
Exactly. So
so he's the expert. Just go to him. Yeah. That's it. That's if I'm starting the hobby, you got to check him out. Say his full name again.
Joshua Bardwell. He's also known as the FPV know-it-all.
So we got some newbies I've seen. There's definitely some experienced guys leaving comments. Also some people asking questions. How do I get into this? You will need help setting up a drone if you don't get a full package, which Jack is recommending you don't. So he's your guy. Go watch his videos. He's probably got something specific that really applies to your situation.
Yep. Blue Falcon, somebody mentioned that. His videos are good, for sure. Yep, Captain Drone. I did see he just put out an FPV series. I haven't watched that. We've done some getting into FPV when we were working with.
Uh-oh. Audio's getting choppy for me, Jack.
3-part.
Uh-oh. So people, you guys could leave us comments. Let us know, is Jack's audio bad or is that just for me? And how's my audio? I'm Chris. Let me know. Jack's getting really choppy for me. Uh-oh. That's not good.
Okay.
So, oh, Jack, are you back?
What?
I lost you there. We are losing you. Jack, your audio broke up. Sounds like I'm still working, so it must be your connection to me. I'm going to go ahead and hang up with Jack. See if we can bring him back. Guess you guys can hear the music there. It is Skype that we're using. There we go. Alright. Alright, we are not doing so hot. I just turned off Jack. Let me make me a little bigger. While we hopefully wait for Jack to come back, why don't we go ahead and kick off the giveaway. This is going to be, oh, he's saying try me again. Alright, let's try it again. Yeah. Clint says Skype's our problem. Yeah, probably.
We there? Am I back?
You're back. Hold on, let me add you back in here. What the
Switch cameras.
Alright, you
This one's
guys hear
hard.
us now? Whew. Alright, let's see if this works. Let's see if people start commenting on our audio coming back. They don't want to leave us because...
No, we got to give away a drone. We need to give... We want someone to get this.
Okay, I think I accidentally, when I tried to turn on Jack's audio, I accidentally turned mine off. Alright, we're back. We are back. You're looking a little dark.
All right.
I'm looking a little extra bright. That's alright. Alright, let's ask Siri, what is our number? Let's see if she does it. Let's get the volume up here. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 200.
A random number between 1 and 200 is 55.
Alright, if you think that you got closest to 55, let us know what your number was, and we will scroll back.
I'm
Scar
scrolling.
Nation, I hope, is that your original number? Yeah, I'm sure you already gave us one.
Newbie flight was 69.
Of course. Keeping it classy.
Broke Boy FPV was 42. Oh, Brandon Hubbard was 56.
Ooh, that's going to be tough to beat. I see he was the first one to submit. Oh, no, he wasn't the first one, but he was one of the first to submit a number. I see a 56. I think 56 is going to take it.
It's Brandon Hubbard. Brandon, are you still here?
Brandon, come back to us. Andrew, Cigar Nation coming in with 55, a little late to the game.
Brandon Hubbard.
There he is. There he is, Brandon. Send us an email or otherwise find us. And
Yeah, so how do we need to verify that it's Brandon
as opposed to
someone pretending to be Brandon.
could they do that?
Brandon, what is well, if he could give us the first part of his email address so we can verify it, and then just email us. Let us know what it is.
I get your point. Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to have some way to verify it's not, Cigar Nation emailing us from a Brandon Hubbard at 1569@gmail.com that he just created there.
Yeah, Brandon. So Brandon, throw us the first couple, whatever first part of your email address. Don't give us the @ whatever, so that we can verify that the email's from you, and then we'll get it to you. Chris, can you throw our email address up on the screen there?
I don't know. Can I?
You should be. There's a.
We got this guy. That's not it. We got. Why don't I see it? Maybe I got to switch themes here. Bear with us.
Oh yeah, it is in the other one. It's in the one with our logo and stuff.
Got to move stuff around here a little bit.
No, just switch the theme.
Yeah, I did, but it's not looking so hot.
All right.
There we go. Good enough. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, there is our email. You guys can reach out to us, ask us questions there. Jack just posted our email in the comments as well.
Yeah,
So,
we'd love to hear from you guys. If you have questions, we're doing another show on Thursday. We're giving away another drone. Chris, you have that one handy?
Yeah, move to your right real quick. You're off screen. I know you don't realize that yet, but there you go. This bad boy, could it be this bad boy?
The Yishin Wizard.
Yes, here it is, the Wizard. Is the Wizard still purple?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, ours is purple. We've had this guy for how long?
Oh gosh.
A couple of years.
It's been a while. Yeah, I don't know. We've got, the video is out. We've got a video on it. I'm not actually 100% positive which wizard we're giving away, but I do know that it's a ready-to-fly package. So if you don't have a remote, you're going to get the drone and the remote. I think they even send they'll even send that to you too. So
this is the one that we're talking about earlier that's going to send you to the hospital, by the way.
yeah. So the Tinyhawk is $120. Right now, I think if you use the links, there's some coupon codes. You can get it for $105. So those are in the video description down below. So that's the Tinyhawk. The Wizard, I think, I'd have to look. I think it's probably closer to $200 or $250 as the ready-to-fly package. There are so many variations of this Wizard. It was like one of the original, one of the original drones that you could just buy and fly. So a lot of people really knock the Wizard because they were problematic at the start. They definitely were. So a lot of people don't buy the Wizard.
I see some comments indicating their Wizard got smoked on the first flight.
And I don't doubt that. but they have made some improvements. That said, you know, I don't I don't know which one you're getting, and I would never recommend that someone go out and buy a Wizard today, right? There are better drones, but you know, as a ready to fly package, it's hard to find a 5-inch and a controller and a battery just to kind of get up and go, and the Wizard will offer you that. That said, the Wizard has been improved. So the original versus what they're making now is better. But
So if you can fly a drone and you hate pairing to your remote, then you're going to want to enter. If you want to keep your fingers, go buy that Tinyhawk in the description, right?
Yeah, the Tinyhawk's great. The Tinyhawk, I actually prefer the Tinyhawk Race to the Tinyhawk Freestyle. It's a little bit smaller and more compact, a little bit more nimble. You know, for racing, right, as they say. Plus, I need to dial in the rates on this thing to get it to where I can kind of do some of that. So, you know, I'm not a wizard when it comes to dialing in rates and PIDs and all that stuff. I'm still learning there.
All right. Let's see. We got anything else to cover tonight?
No, but someone says you should give away a plane or something different. We're going to be talking about planes on Thursday and something different. How about something like this? Does this look different? I had a lot of fun with this, although we're not giving it away. Actually, we're giving it. I think we should give it to Marshall. This would for his birthday. That's our nephew. But loads of fun. I put the Insta360 camera on that thing also. So we're going to talk about not just drones, but planes, VTOLs, RC cars, and some other stuff that we've been having fun with. And that Insta360 camera is going to make an appearance as well. So
should we do a news segment on Thursday? Should we sneak some news in there?
What do we want to talk about? Skydio?
We'll figure it out.
Skydio is making some good stuff.
Leave some comments. What's your favorite news, drone-related news of the last couple weeks? We've been a little lax.
Yeah. If you guys have questions or things you want us to talk about, let us know. We're still trying to figure out the technical side of this live stream, but we'd love to do more shows where we kind of interact. And if you like the live stream, you want to buy us a cup of coffee or a beer, send us a super chat. We'd love that. Kind of helps support the channel, or just subscribe and watch our stuff. We'd love that too. And if you guys, the way that this works, we have real jobs. This is not what we do. So, if you use the links in our videos to buy something, we get a small commission. It doesn't cost you anything. Those are affiliate links. That's how that, what that is. And if you have questions, shoot us a question. We'll answer that there. Right?
That's right. Well.
Yeah, the Bite Shark, the Bite Frost, I don't know if that's actually happening. D-type B2, I wish I knew.
You drinking water, Jack? I got my Lagunitas Hazy Memory.
So I had a onion Drago from the Onion Pub, and
I don't know what
yesterday.
That is.
This was yesterday, and if you've never had one of those, it's absolutely delicious. But it's also 11%. It's thick. It's an imperial stout, and then I followed that up with a Golden Monkey, and then some other things. So,
These are beers? This sounds crazy. All right, well.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No, this is. I don't drink. This is vitamin water.
Nice. Gotta get those vitamins. All right, guys. Should we wrap?
Yeah. Hit us up on Thursday, guys. We're giving away another drone. Come with some questions.